Hey, what's going on everyone? I appreciate y'all coming here and checking out this Fallout 76 video. In this one, I'm going to be getting into something that I feel is good to make a video over because I think it would help lessen the confusion over when this does happen. Now, of course, I'm not saying everyone is confused when this does happen, but this was something I was genuinely confused about at first, and I figured making a video over this would benefit some players over being less confused when this does end up happening in the game. Hope you all find this video enjoyable as well as informative. If you do, consider leaving a like on the video. The support is greatly appreciated, and it would help get this passed around to more players to hopefully help them out in some kind of way as well. As always, that's totally up to you. Just leave a reminder here in the beginning. But yeah, what I'm going to be getting into is why the nuke radius doesn't appear sometimes on the map when you know a nuke just went off. I've seen this topic come up quite a bit on the Fallout 76 Reddit. And, well, one of the main reasons why that happens is because a player nuked over in the Skyline Valley region, which this is the area that was expanded on the map. The nuke will not hit the ground anywhere over here. As you can see, if you're at a distance from the Skyline Valley region, when the nuke is going off, you can literally see the nuke explode in the air. Look at this. You can see like some rings come out of the explosion. It looks different from your typical nuke explosion. And you can see this explosion happen from literally Vault 76. You can tell that it is exploding in the air. And once again, the reason why is because of the storm. As you can see, here is just a regular nuke blast going off from Vault 76 as well, just for comparison of how different it does look. I mean, there's a whole mushroom cloud that appears from, you know, a nuke actually going all the way to the ground instead of exploding in the air. So yeah, that's a neat little secret feature the developers added in that goes with the lore and environment over what is going on over in the Skyline Valley region. I mean, you can still see the rings coming out from the explosion, but in comparison, it does look different if it fully hits the ground compared to it exploding in the sky. It also disappears quicker. It's like the storm absorbs the explosion. And because of this absorption, that means you and your camp are not affected by a nuke. I tested this. I literally nuked my camp and waited exactly where it was supposed to land, and all it did was make my screen turn white and the atmosphere turned orange, and I took like a little bit of radiation damage, not much at all, and then it stopped and my camp was also unaffected. So yeah, you're in a protected zone technically over at the Skyline Valley region too. If you do want to place your camp over there, you are protected from nukes, which is something to keep in mind. Genuinely, I was confused about this at first because I would, you know, see a nuke go off, but I wouldn't see the blast radius anywhere on the map. I thought I was just lagging or something, but it turns out this is a feature that the developers implemented when nuking over in the Skyline Valley region. The blast zone doesn't show up on the map. So yeah, keep that in mind. And you probably already have noticed already from the gameplay footage, but each time you do nuke anywhere over in the Skyline Valley region, it will trigger the neurological warfare event, which this is a boss fight event where you'll have to take on 3 robotic storm Goliaths. And these are no joke, they are extremely tanky. I used to think that you had to nuke specifically the Hawksbill weather station because that's where the neurological warfare event spawns at, but you don't. As soon as the nuke explodes in the sky, it will trigger the event. And there is a reason because of that. It actually plays along with the lore over in this area. We can find a terminal at the Hawksbill weather station in the waiting area that we wait at before going to fight the Storm Goliaths. The area is called the Robot Testing Waiting Area. And up here, if you just head over here to these terminals, one of them you can get on. You will have to hack into it, but it requires a 0 skill level, so you know it's not that difficult to hack in. And once you're in, go to the access linked terminal, and once here, as you can see it states Project Storm Goliath, you want to then go to the automated deployment log. Here's what it'll state. If the vault is ever under high alert, the automated system from the engineering sector will deploy a Storm Goliath variant, Nona, Decima, and Morta, to stand ready to dispose of any intruders. With the resources at our disposal at Vault 63, the engineering sector will automatically construct a new unit if one should fall, allowing automatic deployment of reinforcements. The only way to stand down the alert is to have a Vault Tech representative de-escalate the alert in the engineering sector. So yeah, a nuke over here in this region is considered a high alert, so that's the reason why these Storm Goliaths spawn. And not to mention, we also figure this piece of lore out from the loading screen from traveling to the Neurological Warfare boss fight event. As you can see, it states, a nuke made the Hawksbill weather station send out an alert broadcast stating it was going to deploy defenses. You should go help de-escalate the alert. So, yeah, pretty interesting. And also, believe it or not, Hugo Stolz, the guy who created this man-made storm, didn't do it to defend against a nuke blast. He was actually creating this weather machine to create this storm to help save his wife, believe it or not. The reason why is because after the bombs first dropped, him and his family ended up becoming ghouls. I mean, luckily they wasn't feral ghouls yet, so it was like a blessing and a curse. They got granted immortality since they were a ghoul, but they eventually started becoming feral, which worried Hugo, and he wanted to save his family before they all became feral, especially his wife. So yeah, to make a long story short, he then decided to research ways to prevent ghoul feralization, and he found out exposure to the weather machine that was in Vault 63's meteorology area was found to briefly alleviate feralization. So impatient and desperate, in the year of 2095, he decided to activate this incomplete weather machine, and let's just say it backfired. His wife ended up becoming in a coma, and that started the creation of the Lost in Vault 63. That's how the Dwellers became the Lost. They became totally corrupted. However, he did find out, though, activating it did slow down the ghoul feralization process. But once again, his wife was just in a coma from it, though. So there was a little bit of positive, but mainly negative over activating it. But he decided to do it again in the year 2105, and this is when things just got way worse. And as some of you may know, 2105 is, around the year that we're experiencing Fallout 76. So yeah, it makes sense, because once he activated it again, this is what caused the huge storm to happen in the area, in the Skyline Valley region, and caused a lot of earthquakes in the area too, causing a lot of chaos and destruction around the environment. It even destroyed some of Vault 63, which chain reacted the Lost to escape out of the vault. So that's the reason why we see them around now down in the region. And also, it did seem to alleviate Cassidy's problems for brief moments after activating it. So that's what was encouraging him to keep doing this. We learn about why he is doing this in each time he activated the weather machine at the end of the Skyline Valley questline. That involves Hugo Stolz and Vault 63, when he goes to try to activate it a third time. I'll go ahead and play a bit of dialogue over him talking about it here at the end.
You are a child. You understand nothing. Months ago, before we ever crossed paths, I stood here with Cassidy just as we had a decade ago. I ran this machine again, hoping, begging for a solution, and at worst, a release from this solitary life. The results were unexpected, more severe than my first attempt. The storm, you see? The shattering of the land around here? A result of that brave step.
Now we'll get these 3 dialogue options. Let's go ahead and just say to him, so what, third time's the charm?
This would imply it was a failure. It wasn't. I made great progress in my second attempt. I was able to calm my Cassidy. Suddenly, she responded to my will. She followed my footsteps. She looked me in the eyes again. In that moment of bliss, we fled away back to the atrium. Hand in hand, like school children, we ran while this devilish machine spun on, sowing destruction. I learned something important about the power I hold. I am the gravitational force they need. I am a vessel for this storm. I can move them, save them.
Let's go ahead and just say you have Cassidy back. Just stop here.
Only for brief, fleeting moments. For months, I've pushed Hilda and Audrey toward the solution. I knew it was in me, the signal to shepherd them. I just needed them to isolate it, decode it, replicate it. To teach our machine to dance to my song, to forge a true bridge between me and our lost children. But truly, the last missing piece was you, mein Freund. Without your drive, we'd have been stuck. So, before we end this for good, I do want to thank you again for being a catalyst for change. Now, Let's finish this, shall we?
So yeah, there's a bit of dialogue over him talking about it before we go to fight him. Also, you can figure out when exactly he activated the weather machine each time after defeating him when you go to shut down the machine. As you can see here, if you go to activation logs, it states one of the times he activated it in the year 2095 at 1:16 p.m. and then he activated it again in the year 2105 at 6:41 p.m. And then months later, he tries to activate it for a third time, and then this is actually when we stop him. And for those of you wondering, does the storm still stop the nuke after powering down the weather machine? The answer is yes. It still explodes in the sky, so it's like the storm is in that area forever. It's like the machine chain reacted something to just stay there. At least so far. I don't know if the developers have plans to get rid of the storm in a future update or not, but so far the storm is still there even after we power down the weather machine. And also an interesting fun fact I just wanted to throw in here. In case you didn't know, Hugo Stoltz is actually blind. But after he activated the weather machine for the first time, it states he also gained the ability to see, perceiving the world though in pulses and wavelengths, as a universe of violent synaptic connections, carving out and outlining every object in person. So yeah, what drove others lost and mad turned out to be a blessing to him. Yeah, you end up figuring out Hugo is actually blind during the questline, and you can see him reading Braille at his desk too. But yeah, there you have it, everyone. Hope you all found this video enjoyable. I did cover this in my 76 secrets video, which was over 3 hours long, so it's understandable if you just missed out on watching that video. But yeah, I did cover it in that one, just letting you guys. I'll actually have it pop up here at the end, and a link will be to it in the description if you want to check out that video. I took forever on that. That's my longest and most edited video I've ever uploaded on YouTube so far. But yeah, just figured I'd plug that real quick. Until next time, peace.